I appreciate you coming on first off. I know it's probably been a pretty crazy week. You just told me you came in Sunday. So what's kind of this week look like? Because a lot of people, they just see the fight, they don't really realize all that goes into it. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, originally we were going to be on the main card, but I think they flip-flopped us with the heavyweight title fight.
Yeah, I saw that today.
It was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. No big deal. Yeah, like I expected to come down here and have media and go through photo shoots and all that stuff. So like, I mean, that's part of it when you get to the big leagues. So wasn't anything I wasn't expecting to come in here and do. Yeah, flew in Sunday afternoon. Biggest thing was finding a place to train. Luckily, I had connections with American Top Team from the American Top Team Happy Valley Gym, and I also know Dalton Rasta from spent in Pittsburgh and stuff. So
yeah, he's right on the border up there.
Newcastle, they let us. They opened the doors and let us come in to get the workouts in that we needed. I was just there today and was there yesterday for the wrestling class and stuff. So, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing I wasn't expecting.
Do you have what's kind of the weight cut process? How's that kind of work right now?
Really good. We're just pulling water now. I come down 25, 30 pounds, to make featherweight. Just dieting. I start dieting early, and that way I don't have to pull like a ridiculous amount like in the sauna. I try not to kill myself in the sauna. I've done it before where I've pulled like 13, 14 pounds in the sauna. But no, my weight's on check right now, on point. I only got a few pounds to go, and we'll be on the money for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I mean, for me, whenever I had a match the night before, I couldn't sleep, and I was just always used to being 3, 4 hours of sleep. But that was normal to me.
Yeah.
What's kind of your night before? How do you get kind of in that right mindset before the next day?
Oh man, once I weigh in, I'm so fucking happy. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
You're good.
I'm so happy just to eat again and stuff, and get some carbs and shit back in me, because I'm on no carbs this week, and now at this point we're this close. We're less than 24 hours in a way, and it's there's no sodium or anything you're allowed to take, so that makes it hard to be able to eat anything. But yeah, the night before, I mean, once I weighed in, man, I'm happy. I get some food in my belly, happy and stuff, and then I just start getting in the gear, in the zone, and you think a lot, especially when you're in a room or something by yourself. You lay down, you think a lot, but your mind's spinning, and it's just everything that's involved in this, this game. There's so many different things, so many different emotions that come with it, right? So your brain's definitely spinning, but I usually get a good at least 5-6 hours on fight or night before the fight.
I think as athletes, we tend to look ahead, and any human person, any human does. In your camp, you probably had a lot of small goals to reach that main goal of winning, on Thursday. Can you kind of talk about the small goals you had and what you kind of were working on?
I mean, I think we were 9 weeks out when we got this opportunity. Plenty enough time to get ready. The beginning of it was I didn't want to kill myself too far out and then get burnt out. You know what I mean? So I kind of ease into it for the first 2 weeks or so, and then when we're in 7 weeks, and we start stepping on the gas pedal. That way, like I said, you don't get burnt out in the process of training. Because by the time you get down to 2 weeks out or something, if you start at 9-10 weeks, you can be burnt. Mentally just burnt out. But first thing's getting yourself into fight shape. You know what I mean? Because there's difference in being I can go 5-minute rounds all day long when I'm out of shape. Yeah. But there's a difference between that and being in fight shape. You know what I mean? To be able to go at a sprint for 5 minutes for 3 rounds. Yeah. But I mean, first thing's getting in shape. Once we get in shape, then we build on the game plan and details and stuff like that, and we focus. We watch a little bit more film, do a little bit more picking apart, right? Zeroing in on details and stuff. Once everything starts coming together, you start feeling pretty accomplished. Yeah. For me personally, this has honestly been one of my best camps in my 14-year career, almost 14-year career. Since the last 7 years that I've been with Gorilla House, this has been the best camp that I've been at Gorilla House Gym, and all the guys, the best guys in our area, they were driving out from Pittsburgh to train with me, coming down from State College. I was going over to State College. I got a lot of good wrestling in, a lot of good striking in for this. Had a partner that was very, very identical to Per Grande.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that helped out tremendously. But yeah, it's been the best camp, and I feel great, feel amazing.
Yeah, the thing I think why I got into MMA at such a young age, because I love the one-on-one aspect and the mental side of it. How do you kind of approach that, and what is your mindset like when you're inside there? I know it's a tough question because
Yeah, do what it takes. You know what I mean? Whatever it takes to win. I always say I don't really give a shit how I win. I don't care if it's a split decision. I don't care if it's a decision. I don't care if it's a knockout or a submission, right? I care about one thing only, and that's getting that little green W beside your name on Tapology, right? And there's so many variables and factors that play into that. And when you compete at this level, right, there's so many small increments that can totally cost it for you. And, you know, I understand that, but I also live in the fire, right? And I've always told people, like, I've had a long journey to get here, right? I was never a spoon-fed fighter. I always fought tougher competition. I won everything regionally that I could win. I was the 247 featherweight world champion. I was the 247 lightweight world champion. I was the first person ever in Pittsburgh to win simultaneously 2 belts. I was on a 5-year, 7-fight unbeaten streak in that process. You know what I mean? Just I zoned in, really fucking dedicated myself to what I wanted to do, and I turned things around and created that. You know, when I get in there, it's just let it fly. You know what I mean? Let it fly. Do what I need to do, and just answer.
Do whatever. Sometimes winning ugly is the best one.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't, like I said, I don't really care how I win. 'Cause at the end of the day, when you go back and look at the fight 2 years from now, it's going to say I either won or I lost. Right. So I care about it saying that I won.
Yeah, we have a lot of like younger athletes, middle school, high school kids that kind of watch us. I'm kind of interested, like growing up, did you play any other sports, and like what made you get into MMA? Like, can you kind of talk about that?
So I wrestled my whole life. You know, Central PA. It's deep in your bloods in PA. Wrestled my whole life. Was a solid wrestler. I wasn't a state champion or anything. wasn't a state qualifier, but you know, Pennsylvania's so tough, man. State champion from Florida might not even make it out of districts in PA.
It's like Ohio, same thing.
Pennsylvania's the toughest state in the country to wrestle in.
It is.
But yeah, I did wrestling when I was a little kid, all the way up till I graduated high school. I was all-star football player, defensive all-star, and then I was also a all-star pole vaulter in track.
Oh wow!
And that pole vaulting is probably what I was best at in school sports. But I was triathlete and stuff in school. I was always just like a workhorse, you know what I mean, in the room or in whatever it was I was doing. I was always infatuated with MMA. Like when it first came out, like The Ultimate Fighter, I was like 11 or 12 years old, just watching it. And I really learned how to do the shit just by watching it being done.
Really?
Like I could figure, I knew how to do a basic triangle and armbar and all that stuff. And we would always wrestle around with buddies and my brother and his older brother and his buddies. And I would always beat up his like friends and stuff. And my brother, he's like twice the size of me. And I was always like beat him when we wrestle around. I was always just like kind of good at it. And you know, I got out of high school. It was like do or die. You know what I mean? Give it a shot. And I didn't end up. I was going to go to the military when my brother kind of talked me out of it. And if I would have went to the military, I probably would have never done this. And being that I went to the military or didn't go to the military, I decided to make this my my outlet.
Yeah, this might sound kind of like a stupid question, but you'll believe how many people I hear this from is a lot of kids specialize in one sport nowadays. In my opinion, personally, I think it's terrible. I think you should go play as many sports as you can, become a better athlete.
It depends. Like my coach's kids, they're really good athletes, but they focused on like wrestling, and
look at baseball and stuff like that's where.
By doing that, they they ended up getting free scholarships to a Division I college, and my one teammate, my coach's son, Caden Cassidy, he's the number 20 ranked 149 pounder in D1. NCAA.
Yeah, I guess it depends on kind of the sports and stuff. But like the question kind of with it was like you playing other sports. Do you think that definitely helped you as a better overall athlete?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it makes you more diverse to where you do many things and you focus on different things. Now the name of the game, like that was when I was in school, man. That was 15 years ago. Now the game has changed. Like wrestling has changed somewhat. When I was in school, nobody was doing that. Like you had a couple small clubs, but now it's everywhere you look in Pennsylvania. There's a big wrestling club, and you see guys like the Bassett brothers, and you know what I mean, Jack's Force, like just absolutely doing unthinkable things as high schoolers, right? Teching Seth Gross in the U20 final, or like, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, like these kids are real.
Yeah.
So,
kind of from your first fight to now, what's like the biggest thing you think you learned about yourself as a person or as a fighter?
yeah. Really just what kind of dog I had in me, because you never know what you're going to be, right? You never know you're going to be a good fighter, you're going to be a bad fighter, you're going to be a knockout artist, you're going to be a submission guy. Just the fact that I was able to adapt and like become a chameleon and just become very well rounded. And you know, luckily I found coaches that their style really adapted well with me. And you know, from my first fight, like I said, that was back in 2012. You know, here we are 13 some years later. You know, just being able to continue to keep going and have the longevity that I've had in a career. Not many people have that long of a run, you know, in the sport as a whole. And, you know, being able to just pursue the dream and continuously go for it and go for it and go for it. Like, it just shows me what drive I have and, like, what kind of mentality I have for something.
Yeah, so 2 questions we always finish up. I know it's really hot out here, so I appreciate you doing this. But what's the best piece of advice you've ever heard?
Consistency, right? No matter what, good day, bad day, show up. Hard day, sad day, show up, right? You got girlfriend problems, show up to the gym, right? You just make it a priority to where you're there. No matter what happens in your career, you win, you lose, right? You get knocked out, you knock somebody out. Just continue. Like, if it's really what you want to do, you know what I mean? And it's for anything that you want to do, whoever it might be. If you've got something that you know you want to do and you put your nose down and you grind and you just stay consistent, right? Next thing you know, 10 years has passed and you're an expert on what you're doing and what your craft is. And you become the guy that, it felt like it was overnight where I become the guy everybody in the room was looking at as like, I want to be him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Consistency is really what gets you there.
Yeah, and the last question, you know, this is way down the line, but I always ask it. So when your career is over, how do you want to be remembered?
The guy that tried his hardest, right? Yeah, man, just the guy that gave it his all, did everything he could. You know, I never really thought much about Hall of Fames and stuff like that. I mean, maybe something like that will come someday down the line, but yeah, just a guy that come from nowhere that wasn't supposed to do it, but
did it.
Fucking did it, and you know, became something that nobody expected him to be.
Yeah.
And you know, when it's all said and done, I could hang a hat on that rack for that career.
Yeah. So. Well, I hope on Thursday in the press conference we get to interview you after a win, man. I appreciate your time, dude, and hope to keep in touch.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. I appreciate you having me on.